What if time isn't just a measure of moments, but a force that consumes us? What if memory isn't a refuge, but it's a prison? Salvador Dali's The Persistence of Memory isn't just a painting, it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare where time melts, reality warps, and the subconscious spills into the waking world. Today on Gallery of Secrets, we're going to step into this surreal, unsettling landscape and explore the darker truths within the persistence of memory. This is a journey into decay, into existential dread, and the fragile boundaries of the human mind. The Persistence of Memory was painted in 1931, during a time of personal and global upheaval. The world was still reeling from the aftermath of World War I, and the Great Depression was plunging millions into despair. For Dalí, the painting was more than just an exploration of surrealism, it was a reflection of his own inner turmoil. The barren and desolate landscape is a metaphor for the mind, a mind that's fractured by fear, anxiety, and the relentless passage of time. Dalí once said, "The only difference between me and a madman is that I'm not mad." But in the persistence of memory, we see that thin line between genius and madness, between creation and destruction. Let's start with the most iconic elements of this painting. Obviously, the melting clocks. They're not just melting, they're decaying, they're dissolving. It's as if the time itself is rotting away. The softness of the clock suggests that time is not a rigid structure, but it's a fluid, consuming force. It's a force that devours everything in its path, memories, identities, and even reality itself. And then there's the clock that's draped over this formless figure in the center. Some say this figure is a self-portrait of Dalí, a representation of the artist's own subconscious. And if that's true, then the melting clock becomes a symbol of Dalí's own mortality. It's his fear of being consumed by time, of being reduced to nothing. Now we look at the landscape. It's barren, it's lifeless, with strange, jagged cliffs in the distance. But this isn't a real place. It's a mental wasteland. It's a landscape of despair, if you will. The emptiness of the landscape reflects the isolation of the subconscious. It's a place where the ego goes to dissolve, where the boundaries between self and other, past and present, begin to blur. And then there's the light. It's cold, it's almost clinical, casting long, eerie shadows. This isn't the warm light of day, it's the cold light of the subconscious. It's a light that exposes, doesn't comfort. Dalí said, "I don't do drugs, I am drugs." And in this landscape, we see that tension, the tension between creation and destruction, between genius and madness. Now let's look at the smaller details, the ants and the fly. At first they might seem insignificant, but nothing is truly accidental. The ants are crawling on the orange clock, devouring it almost. In Dalí's work, ants are often symbols of decay, of the inevitable passage of time, a reminder that everything, even time itself, is subject to entropy. Look at the fly, it's hovering near the melting clock. Flies are often associated with death and decay, but they can also symbolize transformation. In this context, the fly might represent the fleeting nature of time, the way moments dissolve into memories. And together the ants and the fly create a sense of unease, a sense that decay and death are always lurking, always waiting. Here's the thing about the persistence of memory. It's a painting about the subconscious, about the part of our mind that exists beyond logic, beyond reason, beyond time itself. Dalí believed that the subconscious was a portal to the infinite, a place where the boundaries of reality dissolve and anything is possible. But in the persistence of memory, that portal leads not to enlightenment, but to the abyss. It's a place where time melts, where memories decay, where self devolves into nothingness. It's a place of existential dread, of fear that nothing is real, nothing lasts, that nothing matters. What do you see when you look at the persistence of memory? I see that reality is fragile, that time is relentless, and that the mind is a vast, uncharted abyss. It's a painting that challenges us to confront our deepest fears of decay, of death, of the unknown. Thanks for joining me on this journey into Salvador Dali's The Persistence of Memory. If this video made you think or feel something, let me know in the comments. Till next time.